Hey guys and gals, sorry about that. Really apologize about that. I got stuck on a call and I'm like, hey, I gotta go. And it's one of those things, that it happens. Anyway, you know what I was looking at? I was looking at the VIX picking up a little bit. Now, this is, I'm gonna stop for a moment and just talk about where we're at with the markets. Let's take a step back for a second and realize that we're still basically at 4,200. Yeah, we were above 4,200 at 4,218. This is on the S&P. We've been down as low as 4,170, and you guys 77, I think. But you guys know that support, as written down today, is at 70, right? That's even the first level support. Key support's at 4,110. So while we're just sitting up here, this, in my opinion, is just consolidation. This is, do it this way, this way. That's just consolidation, right? I mean, as much as I would like to see the market just absolutely roll over and die, I would be so tickled pink if we did this and we just imploded. As if you guys were on the Face webinar this morning, you guys know that I'm starting to get in the camp that, the Fed's not letting off the gas. They're not even, when Powell said it's not even time to talk about tapering. When he said that yesterday, it's like, dude, come on, I mean, that is just, again, it's fueling and fanning the fire. And how many of you guys were not listening to the Face webinar this morning? You were not, or did not listen to Morning Edge. You missed my analysis this morning. Anybody, you can just please go and chat and just say I was not here, because I don't want to sound too repetitive. Amira, you missed it. Okay. Malia says I wasn't here. Martin says I was there. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Gavin says, sorry, I was getting the vaccine, so I missed it. No problem. No, I just don't want to sound too repetitive, so I'm not going to dwell on this. But as I was saying this morning is, after the Fed meeting, I mean, if you own stocks, why would you sell them right now? And Alan said he missed it too. It's like, I want the market to roll over because I want two-way price action. But based on what we heard yesterday, I just don't know if that's the case right now. And I think the problem is that we're going to get some sort of blow off top. Steve's been saying it for the last couple of weeks. And I'm like, yeah, I hope it happens, but yeah, I don't know. I think we're at the top of the wedge, and we got a lot of resistance up here, and today is just some profit taking of positions from yesterday. That's all it is. And people that bought ahead of the Fed, last week and and earlier this week, that's all it is. Just a little profit taking. But really, have you disrupted the markets? No. If anything, the Fed chairman's just fueling the fire. And I know, we all are looking at the S&P the same way. And we're like, well, we're up against resistance and it should, I'm not convinced until we get below 4,100. As I was telling people in the chat room a little while ago, tell me when we get to 4,100 or 4,500. And Jane said also end of month. Yeah. And that's a great point, Jane. It's also end of month. By the way, Jane is a really, really good crypto trader in our chat room. She's great if you guys don't know who she is. Anyway, going back to what I was saying here. Before you get too excited about the market and about any type of downside that you're seeing here, I personally think this is just a consolidation after yesterday's very dovish Fed meeting. And you know what's going to really make me believe otherwise? Okay. And this is a currency pair that has been holding up well. I took my dollar Mexican peso off the table this morning. I took it a little early. Andre took his off at a much better price than I did. He looked for that extension. I was just thinking we weren't going to hit these highs. But really, if for some reason, you know, the dollar Mexican peso gets back above 2025, I'm going to start singing a different tune. I know we're consolidating here, and I personally think that the dollar Mexican peso is a good long trade. I'm long some euro Mexican peso still. For those of you that are not aware, I'm long this from yesterday actually, or 2 days ago, Tuesday maybe. Anyway, I'm long a little bit, and this is kind of like my hedge right now against stocks that go down. If the stock market really starts to go down, then this is going to do well for me, and I'm fine with it just because it's, you know, bottom of a channel. I think it's fine, right? As long as we're holding through these lows. I already have my stops in. I'm not even worried about it. It's more of like just in case, right? Just in case, because I actually bought some euro this morning, you know, because the euro's above 121 and we're holding it, and I'm like, why would I buy dollars right now? Now, I also know that the Aussie dollar is really, really struggling here at resistance. It is very tempting to short the hell out of the Aussie dollar today, or, you know, anywhere around here. It is. But until I have evidence that the stock market is Alan, that's a good comment, and I'm gonna expand on that. The Aussie dollar, I won't short it unless I'm really confident that the market is going to reverse. And you know, look, I played it on the short side several times over the last week or two. You know, thinking, okay, well, you know, we're up against resistance, you know, and you know, we keep popping up here against resistance, and you know, so I just keep shorting the Aussie every time we, you know, get a little bit of a rally, and then, you know, I'd make a couple pips, or it'd go against me and I'd get stopped out for a few pips, then I'd, you know, short it again, make a couple pips. It's kind of like a salmon swimming upstream. It's kind of how I felt. But now, again, because of what the FOMC did yesterday, or the Fed chairman and his words yesterday, I'm not so comfortable shorting the Aussie. And matter of fact, I think if the S&P does do one of these and we start, you know, really taking off to the upside here and do some, like, you know, some sort of parabolic move, which I think is now, you know, becoming more and more possible. It's like, I don't want to be short the Aussie. And then, you know, Amira just asked about the IWM. Look, I'd feel the same way about this. I mean, I know it's down today, down, you know, pretty aggressively, but you know, I think by the end of the day, as long as you're, you know, still above, let's say 225 in the IWM, I don't think there's a whole lot of reason to be short. Alan said, I read somewhere, Blake, that 80% of the time the Fed move unwinds the next day before resuming. Yeah, because, and the reason why that is everybody's anticipating what the Fed's going to do. And right now the Fed is very predictable, right? They're, oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. Can you guys see me? All right. I meant to have my video on. I always forget, you know. So going back to Alan's comments. So yeah, the Fed's super predictable right now. He's been very clear. I'm going to give you plenty of warning before we start tapering, before we start raising rates, before we even talk. And yesterday, we didn't even, it's not even time to talk about tapering yet. It's like fudge sickles, of course. Well, you know, I guess stocks are going to continue to go up. So yeah, Alan says, it's not even time to think about thinking about it. Isn't that what he said? I forget exactly what his words were, but I mean, when you get that type of commentary, yeah, everybody already knew he's going to be dovish. So a lot of people were buying ahead of the Fed. So yeah, there's going to be some profit taking like today. But again, longer term, is there any reason to really be out of stocks? And so the comment I was making this morning, which going back to the S&P, is this: you know, you get this grind higher, and you know, I've been for the last month or two, well, you know, every time we've like knocked our head up against like some resistance here, you know, I'll start trading short risk. Right? We got this little false breakout. I'm like, okay, false breakout. I'm gonna short some risk. Then we get up here. It's like, ooh, you know, we're up against trendline resistance. I'm going to short some risk, you know, short the Aussie, you know, whatever. But now look what's happening and look at the price action, right? And let me take this and draw this again. Look at the price action here. Now, oops. Now, instead of pulling back, now we're starting to grind, right? So now think about all the people that are shorting as you're grinding higher. It's just, you're just continuously grinding up. Now everybody's trying to short into that grind, and they're not even getting pullbacks to take profits off the table. Or the pullbacks are so shallow, they're just like, oh, shoot, I'm up 10 S&P points. I got to cover. Ooh, I'm up like 2 S&P points. I got to cover. The gains for anybody who's short is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller every day. So at some point, what that turns into is that it'll end up turning into, I think it's going to end up being like a parabolic move where, you know, everybody's like, well, screw it, short. I can't even short anymore. And then you get people that stop shorting, and then everybody who was shorting is like, well, F it. If I can't beat them, I'm going to join them. And that's what Steve was saying today. And I can't disagree with that. And then, you know, eventually you get a blow off top, and it could be really sharp and it could be really fast. I mean, I literally believe we can run up and down like 5 to 8% intraday. Like, imagine that. Like, just think about that. Like, you know, it's one thing when you go up 1% every day, you know, oh, you know, the Dow moved up or the S&P moved up like, you know, 2%. You're like, wow, that was a big day, right? Well, how about, you know, intraday, we run up like 8% one day, boom, right? Then what's really important is the next day or that same day, we're up 8%, we come down 8%. That same day, it's over. I'm just telling you guys from experience of trading capitulations or blow off tops, or we run up 8% one day, the next day we do another 5% and then down 7%, then it's over, right? Whenever you reverse like a big day and reverse the entire day in one day, or you go a couple of days and then reverse a full day the second day, then it's over. Then the top is in. It doesn't happen often. In my career, I've seen that happen a couple of times. But I'm feeling that's what's going to happen. And, you know, and so I guess the question is, what do you do with the dollar? You know, in the meantime, it's probably going to get sold. And that's when you go over to the dollar index. And I hope, is this all making sense to you guys? Is this all resonating really quick? Alexander, yep, Gavin, okay. And you guys can answer if you want. You don't have to like sit there and like Laura Martin, Malia, Hugo, okay. And I mean, like I said, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we just, you know, maybe we hold this and then we sell off. And look, that would make me happy too. I would be happy if we just broke below, 4,100 and started, making our way down below 4,000 again. We break below 4,100, it's going to get my attention. That will get my attention, Then I'll be like, oh, maybe this megaphone pattern that we're looking at is actually going to play out. I am scared about the first case scenario. That's scary to me because that means that we are at we're at risk of if we get a blow off top, we're at risk of actually putting in a long-term top. Like when I say long-term, I'm talking like, I don't know, 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, something like that. If we get a blow off top, we won't see these levels again for a long time. You look at Japan. Japan's blow off top is we've never even recovered since 1989. It's been over 30 years. Now, listen to a guy like, as I was talking about this morning, the next guy that came up today was Dave. And I've never listened to this guy before, but he's got a pretty big following and he's an old portfolio manager. You should listen to today's Face interview if you missed it. He's echoed the same thing. And I guess this has been his scenario for like a move to 4,700 and then deflationary environment, market implodes. And Martin says, I agree with the above 4110, but you also said many times that we can be in a longer term trading range, which could be 4,250 to 4,000, I think. Let's see how many peeps wait now for a blow off top. And, that's the second case scenario, Martin, I'm actually okay with, and it's still not off the table. Going back to the S&P here, let's say we break through 4,100, as you see here, and then we're in this range for a while. That's good, because that's what a bull market needs to do, right? That's what a bull market needs to do to continue on into this fall. Like, I would be happy with a break below 4,100. We break below 4,100. That also means, to me, Aussie dollar is going to trade back down here to 74 cents, right? Head and shoulder pattern is going to kind of play out, until we, it's going to, let me draw it out. It'll kind of play out. What I mean by kind of is, we'd probably do something like this, I guess, something like that. There's plenty of opportunities if we drop back below 4,100 and we just range, and that because that's going to mean that these commodities are going to go a lot higher. The commodity currencies like the Aussie is going to go, probably up to 85, 90 cents, and by the end of the year or something like that. I don't think that that's off the table. I am worried though, and I know I just sound like a broken record here. I am worried that if we do get some sort of blow off top, we will do one of these. Let's just, draw it out. You go to 4,600, you get a blow off top, we reverse, and, we come down like this. And then we recover like this for, I would say 1,500, because that was a big breakout point. If you guys don't recall, back post financial crisis, 1,500 right here. Right? Then, we blow off top, we lose. This would be, 50%, 70% of our value. And then we just sit down here for like the next, 2, 3, 5, 10 years, That's what I'm actually really scared of. And and I'm scared of it for a lot of reasons. You look at Japan, You look, and this is just kind of reiterating things that I said earlier. You look at Japan, you know, and you look at like the world, and I think about like retirement. I mean, I'm 50, and you know, when I'm 80, sorry guys, I don't want to be sitting here talking to you when I'm 80. I'd actually like to be sitting next to my pool with a mojito, with my wife, and watching my grandkids run around in circles. That's what I'm hoping to do, right? But then I'm worried about like my kids and like so the last thing I want to happen right now is a blow off top, but I'm kind of feeling that's what's at risk, because we borrowed so much money against our future. And that's I guess the most fearful thing. And I'll tell you what, I didn't give you very many actionable ideas today, did I? I'm sorry. Daily Roundup is usually like what I just think that today's conversation is kind of important. I hope it, you know, resonates with you guys. Okay. And I hope you guys are all still listening. I think some of you are, most of you are. But let's talk about like maybe some things that you know, like just things to think about. I'm not interested in chasing the dollar Canadian lower here. Maybe, you know, later today, you can find like a move back up to like 23.50, 60, 70. Look for maybe a reversal up there. I think the euro is bullish while we're hanging out above 121 and above this channel support specifically, which is like 120.90. So maybe in Asia, if we get a dip down to like 120.90, that's going to be a better location to be long versus where I'm long around 121.05. I don't know what to do with the Aussie, but I don't want to be short in this environment, right? And then you look at stocks, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we're up, we're basically flat for the day. I wouldn't be surprised if we close the day back above 4,200. You saw a little bit of profit taking. That's it. Next thing you know, tomorrow we'll be up, you know, 42.30, 42.40, you know, as we just continue this relentless, ugly grind higher in risk. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great one. Thank you so much for your patience. Thanks for waiting around for me today. I'm sorry I was on a call. I tried to wrap it up as quickly as I could. Anyway, Martin says it's nice talking to you this way. It's like the old times. Oh, thanks. Oh, glad that you guys are all here, and thank you for your continued support. I love you all like family. So I'll talk to you soon. You're welcome, Alexander.